We have economics paper 2, June 2020. First question is, the International Labour Organization, ILO, measures what? Unemployment. We use ILO to measure unemployment because it means International Labour Organization. So it's about unemployment. Question B. Which method of protection is used to reduce the price of exports? It cannot be free trade because free trade talks about trade restriction. Tariffs is a tax on importation, so it doesn't give import. It's not about export. Subsidies, yes, subsidies, because subsidies will reduce the cost of production, making it cheaper to export goods and services. So the answer is C. Quotas will reduce. Quota is one of a method for trade restriction, so it is not quota. The answer is C. Clear. Go to question C. What is meant by the term GDP? GDP is the market value of goods and services produced in a given economy. That is real GDP. That's GDP, which is the nominal GDP. But when we talk about the real GDP, it means it has been adjusted with inflation. So when they ask you in the exams about real GDP, it's a GDP that is being adjusted with inflation. But for GDP here is a nominal one, which is the market value of goods and services produced in a given economy. Is it clear? So go to question D. Describe one positive impact of economic growth. An increase in employment, which will bring about a rise in the income level. Economic growth is one example of economic growth is increase in employment.
What about the option?
Yeah, we have increase in output, which will increase GDP. Increase in demand, which will bring about increase in revenue for firms. Yeah. Increase in employment, increase in improvement in living standards is also an example of economic growth. Clear?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. It's fine. So go to question E. Calculate to two decimal place the rate of inflation in 2018. So the old value, the new value is 130 minus the old value divided by it. They get multiplied by 100, which is 8.22. Clear? That's question E. Go to question F. So using the diagram below, draw and label the 3 stages. We have boom, recession or downturn, and recovery. Boom, recession or depression or downturn, and recovery. Is it clear? All right. Next question G. Explain one reason why some people in the education sector might choose to become voluntarily unemployed. Before we go into that, what is voluntary unemployment? Voluntary unemployment occurs when individuals choose not to work. That is what voluntary unemployment is. Okay. So here I wrote high income tax might be the reason why people become voluntarily unemployed. Why? A high income tax paid by teachers will reduce the disposable income for teachers. As a result, there may be disincentive to become a teacher. Therefore, people who are supposed to choose a career in teaching may decide not to work because they don't want to pay much. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is increase in government social benefits, like unemployment benefits. So if there's increase in government paying, if government continues to pay unemployment benefits, there's this disincentive to work. So people might choose not to work, especially if the amount paid by government is even higher. It's higher compared to what they would earn if they are working. So people might choose not to work. Clear? Go to H. Sorry, H, sorry. Analyze how the reduced cost of transport as compared to the increase in globalization. So I start. The movement of goods and services around the world is mostly done through container ships, based on the case study anyway, or cargo, especially in the long distances. So the reduction in cost of transporting goods was as a result of large cargo ships, which can transport large amount of goods at the same time. This will bring about economies of scale. Now they can transport large quantities, reducing their cost of production. Yes or no? Because they are able to shift the cost on large quantities of goods that they are transporting. Clear? This encourages further importation and exportation. Now, that's how I finish up with that. Then, transport improvement in the aviation sector means that people and goods can move at a faster and better way between countries.
Which is flexibility.
Yeah, there's flexibility in movements now. So people can move from one country to another. And this increases globalization. Is it clear? The globalization also involves movement of people, capital from one country to another. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So go to question 2. We have the case study. So which one of the following diagram shows the Indian market for apples, almonds, and lettuce following the introduction of tariffs? Introduction of tariffs will shift the supply curve leftward, bringing about movement along the demand curve. Which will contract due to higher prices. Clear? So the answer is C. There's movement along the demand curve, contracting, increase in higher prices. No, it's C. Is it clear?
Yeah.
We go to question B. The supply curve will shift leftward anyway. I think that's clear. Which supply side policy involves the removal of government controls? The removal of government regulations is deregulation. Reducing regulations, that's deregulation. So reducing government regulation is A. The answer is A anyway. Did you get that?
Yes.
Education and training is a supply side policy. Lower business tax, that is cut in taxation, is also its fiscal policy. Infrastructure spending is increasing government spending, which is subsidy. So it's not. So go to question C. State one disadvantage of free trade: dumping, increasing foreign competition, increasing unemployment. Anyone you write is fair.
It's a disadvantage.
Yes. Dumping,
Dumping.
increasing unemployment,
And
increasing competition. Any of these three are fine. Clear. What is meant by the term? What is meant by the term exchange rate? Exchange rate is the price of a country's currency in relation to the other country's currency. Example, the dollar and the naira. Okay. So go on to question. There's no one reason why a fall in the value of euro may have resulted in a positive impact on Germany's current account. A fall in the value of euro used by Germany would meant that Germany will become internationally competitive as the price of exports become cheaper due to the fact that less foreign currencies will be needed to buy more euros. Export increases than import. This may result in current account surplus. Clear? Is it clear, sure?
yes.
Okay. F. There's no one way privatization could improve productivity in these Indian airports. What is privatization for? Privatization is the transfer of government-owned businesses like airports to private individuals or firms. Productivity is the measurement of output in relation to input. So, privatization will bring about improved productivity because private firms will aim to maximizing profit. As a result, will involve in an efficient way of production, and that will bring about productivity and profit. Yeah. Move on. We have the case study of Canada here. It said, with reference to the data above and your knowledge of economics, assess the advantages of using benefits payments to redistribute income in a country such as Canada. Benefit payment is a form of social benefit given to disadvantaged citizens to ensure they have an improved living standards. Okay. The advantage of benefit payments are as follows. One, it reduces the gap between the rich and the poor, which is it reduces income inequality. Clear? It could alleviate poverty, as reported that around 300,000 children have been lifted out of poverty in Canada due to the child benefit payments. Is in the case study. Has helped to remove more than 300,000 children out of poverty. So I wrote, it could alleviate poverty. It could reduce poverty, as reported that around 300,000 children have been lifted out of poverty in Canada due to the child benefit payments. Clear? However, increasing benefit payments, like unemployment benefits, may bring about disincentive to work, leading to a fall in GDP. Clear? There are other effective ways to reduce income inequality, such as progressive taxation.
Progressive, not aggressive.
Progressive. Okay. Move on. Question 3. Are you there? Which one of the following is likely to be a trade-off as a result of increased economic growth? Increased economic growth is the same as increased employment. Increased economic growth is the same as improved standard of living. Increased economic growth is the same as high fiscal policy surplus. So, The only trade-off here is inflation, which will increase because all A, B, C, A, C, and D with economic growth will bring about inflation. So if you want to reduce inflation, you have to reduce all that has been said. Is it clear? And you know what trade-off means? It means in the course of you increasing one, you have to reduce the other. Clear? Go to what type of tax?
Is it like opportunity cost?
No. Opportunity cost is the cost of the next phase of time forgone. You use trade-off here. This is about trade-off. It is not opportunity cost, it's trade-off. So, which type of taxation has a higher proportion of income paid as income rises? Indirect tax is a tax on consumption. Business tax is corporation tax. Value-added tax is an indirect tax, it's progressive tax, which is the tax you pay. It increases as level of income increases. B, yes. You get that? Yes. Go to C. Explain one advantage for Indonesia of the palm oil plantations being owned by MNCs. Well, MNCs setting up in the country bring about employment opportunity. Therefore, the advantage of MNCs having the palm oil plantation in Indonesia means they will employ more workers as it is labor intensive. This will increase the income level of Indonesia. Okay. So we'll move on. Go to D. The case studies, they said, analyze the impact on unemployment of a recession in a country such as Italy. What is recession? Recession is the fall in the GDP of the country in 2 consecutive quarters. That is what recession is. Then during recession, economic activity such as consumption and production would fall. Okay. Consumers' confidence fall as a result, they reduce their purchases. Because consumers, during recession, they don't have money, so their confidence level falls. Do you get it? Yeah. So which means firms will be witnessing a fall in revenue, which may result into laying off workers. Revenue for firms will fall because they depend on consumers, and consumers are not buying as they used to buy. This will result into laying off workers. In summary, during recession, the rate of unemployment increases as firms will not be willing to invest further, while they delay investment or cancel investment. We have this case study, the rate of interest rates. So, with reference to the data above and your knowledge of economics, assess the likely effectiveness of monetary policy in increasing economic growth for a country such as China. So, what is monetary policy? Monetary policy is the use of interest rates and money supply by government to manipulate the economy. To increase economic growth, manipulate, yes, or control. Okay. To increase economic growth, the government can use expansionary monetary policy, such as cut in interest tax. So this makes the cost of borrowing become cheaper. Firms whose investment in capital goods are through borrowing will be able to invest more, which means they can increase their output. Economic growth. Then, a cheaper rate of interest, a cheaper rate of borrowing makes it ideal for consumers to borrow more, which may increase their disposable income. As a result, increase spending, leading to increase in demand as firms may need to meet up with demands too, then having to employ more workers. Clear? However, and that will increase output because when the economy is employed, output will increase. But unemployed economy means that output will reduce. You're not reaching your potential. That is the point there. So if the economy is able to reach its full potential, it means GDP will increase your output. Clear? Yeah. However, low interest rates, which increase borrowing and spending, they bring about higher inflation. There will be pressure on prices, pressure on demand. Higher inflation. Yes, if demand continues to exceed supply. Also, there are other factors that may determine economic growth, such as consumer confidence, which is one of the things that can lead to increase in consumption. Interest rate is there, yes. But when you look at consumer confidence, another factor that is important when the economy has to grow, because consumer confidence will bring about increasing demand. It is only when demand increases that firms will be witnessing a rise in their revenue. As a result, they might want to invest further, employing more workers. So it is, when you look at it going forward, it's difficult to take away consumers when the economy has to grow. That is why when there is when there is a recession, to recover, demand for goods and services must increase, and to do that, prices must fall. Are you sure it's clear? A bit. Consumer confidence level is the willingness and the ability to buy, knowing fully that they will make more income in the future. That is what consumer of confidence is. They are optimistic about the future.
Okay.
Now, it's a factor that could be considered instead of interest rates. So how can government do that? Government can subsidize for firms, making prices to become cheaper for consumers to buy. Why do I say all these things? When you look at consumers, so now it takes us back to recovery. For the economy to recover after recession or downturn, for the economy to recover, there's need for increase in aggregate demand. But for the aggregate demand to increase, prices must fall. So why is government trying to use interest rates? Why can't government try to use subsidies?
To recover the economy more efficiently.
So is it clear? Question 4. We have the case study there, the schedule. Calculate the fiscal surplus or deficit. Fiscal surplus or deficit is always government revenue minus government expenditure. Revenue is 811, expenditure is 819, so there's a deficit there. Negative 77642 million. Clear? It's the same as budget. I hope you know that. Okay. Analyze how the Estonian government might use fiscal policy to control inflation. What's fiscal policy? Fiscal policy is the use of taxation and subsidy by government to control the economy. Clear? An increase in income tax may reduce the demand for goods and services in Estonia, which may be as a result of a fall in disposable income. That's the first point, fiscal policy there. Tax is fiscal policy. This will reduce the quantity of goods sold in Estonia. As a result, firms in Estonia may decide to reduce prices, bringing about a fall in demand through inflation. Clear? Lastly, government spending. Because we said fiscal policy is the use of government spending and government taxes. So it's not going to be about taxes, we talk about spending too. So for government spending, government can reduce its spending. So cutting spending means prices will rise, because increasing spending makes prices to fall. So cutting spending means prices will rise, inflation will increase. Inflation will reduce as a result of demand reducing in the economy. I'll repeat again. Government spending. Lastly, government spending like subsidy can contribute to a fall in the inflation rate. How? This will occur if government cuts down spending. Okay. As prices become higher, prices become higher, then demand will fall. So as demand falls, demand pull inflation will fall. Clear? Clear.
I want to negative effects.
What?
Now we say however, right?
No, that's all.
That's it.
Yeah, it's 6 points.
Okay.
It's 6 points, and I made 4 points. That's almost 8 points. Yeah. Because they said here, they're talking about the use of fiscal policy. So it's basically how to control inflation, which is either subsidy through spending or taxation. We're not assessing, we're only analyzing. So we have the case study here. Here is about evaluation, which is the same as assessment. That you have to talk about advantages and disadvantages. Yeah. So they said, with reference to the data above and your knowledge of economics, evaluate the advantages of using subsidies for public transport to protect the environment for a country such as Estonia. First, what is subsidies? Or what are subsidies? We already said it, but we have to say it again. Subsidies are financial help from government to reduce the cost of production or to reduce the price of consumption. Now, fully, to reduce the cost of production or to reduce the price of consumption. That is what subsidy will bring about. So the Estonian government gave subsidy to public transport to reduce the price of public transportation, which may help to increase its demand, reducing car transportation, which is a substitute to public transportation. Clear? Yeah. Okay. Cheaper public means cheaper public transportation. Oh, sorry, cheaper public means of transportation will reduce the number of cars in the roads of Indonesia, reducing pollution. Clear? Pollution will reduce that an advantage. The amount of subsidy on public transportation also increased by 24.43% between 2018 and 2019. That's percentage increase. 24.43% between 2018 and 2019. This is likely to encourage the use of public transportation than cars. Clear?
Clear.
However, there's opportunity cost because the Estonian government must fund or finance the public transport, which will result to lack of spending on education or infrastructure or health. Clear?
Clear.
Also, government increasing spending on air service. It said it increases air service by 5.53. Also, government increasing spending on air services should be discouraged as it may also cause environmental damage that the Estonian government is trying to reduce. You are trying to reduce environmental damage, but the air pollution is also an environmental damage because you are increasing air transportation with this investment. Clear?
Yeah.
So lastly, there are other ways in which government can reduce environmental damage with less opportunity cost than spending on transportation. Government will spend on technology, maybe the use of electric cars and those.
The electric car will reduce the pollution.
Yes. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So that ends paper 2 for June 2020. Thank you.